Hello, good morning, and what's up? Well, so been really busy at the shop, and also kind of taking in a lot of what's going on right now in our political climate, and I wanted to be able to kind of like give us a good assessment where we're headed and what's going on, and I wanted to see what Trump was going to say. We're all kind of, we weren't sure. As much as we kind of knew what he was going to say, we still weren't sure because this guy could say anything. And so been kind of just watching the waters and just super super busy in the shops. A little bit of both's been going on, so I'm sorry I haven't been out here. So what we've got now is some wins. I know we're all disappointed about what happened with Kari Lake in Arizona. As far as I know, she hasn't conceded yet. I don't know what's going to happen. I've got a few articles that will kind of lead us in a direction that looks like, okay, if these guys are doing it, maybe we should kind of look into, if a third world country, well, not, I guess Berlin's not a third world country, but anyways, if another country over there in Europe that's not as democratic as or republic-y as our Democratic Republic, United States, have seen something that was really strange go on with, like, so far as a lot of the things not working that it takes. Now, I got to use code words because I want to get this word out. And so my code words are going to involve sort of things that we use when we put our papers in, and it counts the number, and then it tells you how many, and then they all tally it up, and then they put it on TV and say, this guy won, this person won, whatever, or this person lost. So bear with me on my code words if this is the first time watching this video. Uh, so I've been watching the Twatters, and Kari Lake's obviously, I think she's going to try to do this the best way possible where we got to keep good optics because you got to remember the left just used that the deniers of the E word whenever you cast your voice every 2 to 4 years. That was their main thing, just poking their finger and calling us deniers of that, the E word deniers. But anyways, I'm trying to think of a good code word without getting too pissing YouTube off. Well, we know that things didn't do quite what they should have been. We know that there are some weird numbers that came out. Like, I've heard the term democratic math. I call it critical race theory math, where you can, 2 plus 2 equals 2.5 or something. However you want it to work. If it's 2.5 in your favor, it'd be 4.0. They can make it whatever, just however it needs to be. So they're doing that with like just counting things for extended period of time. Just keep counting, and then they slow roll these things out. If you're new to this stuff, if you're watching this for the first time, it's probably a lot to take in for somebody who's just now kind of starting to see what's going on. Even though you probably heard in mainstream media, oh, they're those E word deniers, they're just crazy. But now that you got to see the actual, if you are a part of, taking part in casting your voice, and because you've seen the what the world is going to, what the United States is going to, and you're fed up with democratic policies and you want to, move around in a different direction, and you know that something ain't right. And there's a lot of people right now, especially in Arizona, there's a lot of people right now who currently still don't have their papers counted when they put them in that thing. Or if they mailed them in, or if they dropped them off early, or if they went to one of those pick it up, like you could drive through and some skinny jeans person would come out there and get your paper and said that he's going to put it in for you. And that kept you from getting out of your car. And if you're an elderly person, that was real convenient because it was easy to go there and somebody grab it and supposed to put it in. Well, that's chain of custody. That's chain of custody issue right there. As soon as somebody touches your paper that you filled out your little bubbles on and you hand that thing off, that's a chain of custody issue right there. Now, I think that's legal in states. I'm not saying that they did anything illegal, but in some states and some counties, the laws are different, so it's legal. However, it doesn't mean it's secure. So if you're going to do some day of things or some early things, whenever you put your papers in or cast your voice, make sure that you put it in yourself, because you want to make sure it's in there and nobody has, there right here recently in California, there was truckloads of big, huge things of papers mixed in with other mail that were just dumped into a ravine. And there's people right now that they can't find their paper in Arizona. They can't see where it was counted. Lots of them, thousands, enough to where that would have actually determined a different outcome, allegedly, possibly, maybe. I'm not going to say for sure, YouTube, but if you run the numbers, those numbers won't lie. They don't have feelings. So, but Trump announces his 2024 run for presidency. In case you probably haven't heard, I hope you have, but if you made it here, you probably know this. But yes, that's really, really, really cool. I'm gonna stand behind him because this dude has got us here. He's the one that made this, not really, we made it happen, but he put the all the information up here in front of us for us to be able to determine. I watched him during his presidency, hold the media accountable when he would do his speeches or he'd do talks and media press conferences. He would bring up he'd get out the monitors and he would show where they were, lying about stuff. Anyways, so that's caused him to catch a lot of flack. And the problem is we're looking at a situation where there's a lot of lawfare, and that's just to bog the system down, to take resources. And if Trump doesn't, he's going to fix this. I really have a lot of confidence in him. He's coming out low key right now. He's not coming out with all that energy because I think right now he just wants to get the announcement out. Everybody said, well, the speech was a little low energy. Well, mind you, he was at Mar-a-Lago. This was a formal event. This wasn't a crowd, it wasn't a pep rally. This was a formal event, a formal announcement. So you wouldn't see Trump doing, a lot of the stuff where they gets the crowd putting their, woo, yay, having a good time. So, right now he just needs to get everything kind of in the works. This man isn't just going to do this and not know what he's doing. I promise you. This guy's, I give him credit. He's smart. And so let's just keep our eyes on that and let's support this dude because he's supported us. He put himself out there. I am so sympathetic to the fact that he was the only person willing, even though, like everybody says, he was, he told Hillary in his running, hey, we're all running the system. That's why it's not going to change. He said, but I'm not going to lie to anybody about it because Hillary was saying he doesn't pay his taxes, and he says you don't either. And she says, and if you could fix that by changing laws. Oh, Dave Chappelle brought that out. I watched it. I remember him saying that too. He said if you wanted to change the laws, you could. He said, I don't pay. She said you don't pay taxes. Trump says that's because I'm smart. And then she kind of like did something, and he says you could fix this if you change the laws, but you're not going to change the laws because you do the same thing. And then he's like, he was like that, and I'm looking forward to that energy. I hope we get to have more of that. But right now, you've got to sort of like you've got to putting Trump in the middle of something that's like ripping the Band-Aid off, or you got to just well, maybe the analogy for putting Trump into politics and doing this is sort of like having. You just got to, I'm pretty sure right now he just doesn't want to shock the system. That's kind of where I'm going with this. But, okay, enough of my talk. I've been talking for a long time. I get into these rants, and it's, sorry, I'm just excited to be out here. I haven't done a good video, a real video in a couple of days because I'm just sort of watching everything. And so let me get myself out of the way here, and I want to show you a few articles. Now, I'm going to have to really, really, really be careful with one of them because of the fact that it's some of the stuff that YouTube. And I'm not claiming anything, YouTube. I'm just going to show what the crowd looks like and what's going on. So this is me not saying that this is all this. It's all going to, it'll come out when it comes out, YouTube, okay? All I'm doing is just highlighting some stuff. All I'm doing, YouTube. So be nice. Okay. So, of course, Trump officially announced his run for president 2024. A nice crowd, a beautiful event, a beautiful place. And there's all of there's the filings, the papers. And
in order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, you guys, are you ready? Are we going to get this thing going, or we're going to stick together and make this thing roll out? Because a party divided is a party defeated. We've got to. Don't get me wrong. I really think a lot about DeSantis, but there's also an article that came out about some things behind the scene about DeSantis, and I'm not going to say that he's a bad dude, but I think that if anybody's going to hit the system off, properly, it's going to be Trump, because he's not beholden to that system. See, if DeSantis runs, he's going to have to accept money from outside influences to make his campaign possible. He's going to have to get the Mitch McConnell money. That's uniparty. It's all uniparty, and that's not to say that he won't do a good job, but he's going to be sort of hands tied to what he can do. You'd be looking at just a slower destruction possibly because it wouldn't be an immediate rollout like Biden did. Like, yeah, let me just screw everything up real quick. But here in Berlin, this is Berlin, Germany. You see this line long here? Well, they had problems with the things that weren't reading their papers. They had to. This is what allegedly was going on here. That they weren't able to put things in the machine that it took to do that stuff, and that they weren't working. So there was a lot of suppression. Not any of the F word guys. It was just suppression allegedly. And so now in Berlin, what they've decided to do is they're going to rerun everything. They're going to redo it. They say, guys, you're going to have to get this right. Now, why am I talking about Berlin? Okay, let's look at what happened in Arizona with Kari Lake's electrical problems. Okay, all right. So what happened is you've got a person who is running for that position against her another. Okay, so Kari Lake's running for governor. Katie Hobbs is running for governor. This is weird, guys. I don't know how this is even a thing, but Katie Hobbs running for governor also is the person in charge of the E-words, the process of of casting your voice. And I know that you've been here, you know all this, but hopefully I'm educating a new subscriber who's decided to step out of the mainstream media and step into this world. And maybe, hopefully, we can bring some receipts and prove to them that we're not feeding them a line of horse crap. So back to what I'm saying, guys. So Katie Hobbs running the thing, somehow or another, it got completely messed up to where they didn't have things right. They ran out of ink, they ran out of paper, the machines. A lot of the machines weren't up and running. It's been reported allegedly 30% plus, and that really happened a lot in the red areas of the areas that they know where that's going to be a lot of people that are of the Republicans or conservative Republicans, okay? Because I got to figure out now what we've got a Republican Party that Josh Hawley said is dying. I took it wrong. Matt had to jump all over me and said Josh Hawley's not one of them. I said, well, I took it wrong because he sounded like he was going to go Mitch McConnell and diss the MAGA movement, because that's what Mitch McConnell wants to do. But hopefully we can revive this stuff. We can build this Republican Party in the next couple of years to where we can get those people out that are uniparty as much as we can. We'll try hard. Now, look, we need to remember what we got as our wins. We've got the House. That's a good thing. I know it's not all the wins we wanted. We don't have a supermajority. That's fine. I think I like Trump's statement when he was talking about announcing his run for 2024, that it's a win of doesn't matter, it's a win. It's not the best, but it's better than nothing, especially considering the hill that we're climbing to get over top. It's like we're fighting a battle, and we've got everybody shooting downhill at us. We're down at the bottom, and they're up top, and we're trying to get up that hill. And we're going to take some losses. We're going to take some losses, guys, but it doesn't mean we should stop. We've got to keep going. We've got to get on top of that thing. And here's another big deal over in Brazil. Okay, I've got a wonderful, great, awesome friend. His name is John. He has a YouTube channel called American in Exile, and you can check him out on YouTube. And he lives in Brazil, but he's fighting for America in Brazil because this is home country, and he cares a lot because actually, as much as we're not wanting to be world connected, we are, because there's a lot of food in Brazil. There's a lot of actual patriots in Brazil that want the same thing we have. And so that's where really selling a message man, oh my goodness, the British wanted to promote monarchs, and so they went to all these countries and infiltrated them and made them monarchs, trying to take over and use their monarch and king and queensmanship to run dictators everywhere. And that's, to us, is bad. So we decided that we would go to other countries and try to export democracy, a republic, a constitutional republic. And you're looking at but then the CIA hijacked all that stuff and used it for foreign affairs. They did all kind of weird stuff. Yeah, guys. Oh, they always do that. Like whenever you're playing a good game of kickball, here comes the bully neighbor and he wants to change the rules even though he couldn't kick the ball. I don't know. So, by the way, okay, back to what. So you got 3 million Brazilians. That's pretty cool. 3 million Brazilians. They are E-word. They said there was a problem with their people picking process. Something wasn't right. I don't know what, but I'm not naming anything. I'm not saying anything or anything, YouTube. I'm saying, but they have this theory that something isn't right. And judging this, by the way, this is all people. This isn't like a picture of a field or anything that hasn't been mowed in a while. These are all Bolsonaro supporters. That's a stage, I think, maybe. But look at that. I don't think that's bigger than Woodstock almost, guys. I mean, look at that. That's people. Those are people in support. Droves and droves of people. He says there's 3 million of these. There's 3 million people out there. by the way, surviving the mostly deadly winter of all time, death and destruction of that jab stuff. But anyway, so that's happening in Brazil. Okay, now we're putting some pieces together. At the end of this, if you stuck it out, thank you so much. Okay, we're gonna put some pieces together. And I'll do that now because we're gonna move on. Well, let me go to this here. We'll go here. Here we go. Okay. Then we'll put these pieces together. And so George Soros, back candidate, loses district attorney race in Arizona. No, it's not the Blake Masters win we want so far. I don't know what's happening there yet. I don't know. I got to check into that. But this chick here, she's a Soros-backed DA, and she's out. She lost to a Republican, and that Republican, give me a second here. I read the name of the person, but Rachel Mitchell. Rachel Mitchell. That's who won, Republican, conservative district attorney, and she accepted money out of like the Open Society Foundation, and they on the books it's only like $7,000, but dude, that's on the books, okay? It's on the books, but she actually was let me see here. She ran for county attorney in 2020, losing to incumbent Alistair Adele, who resigned in March. Google's campaign did not respond to the request for comment. So weird stuff going on in Arizona. A lot of weird stuff. So my pieces I would like to put together. That's Rachel Mitchell. Can't talk. The pieces I'd like to put together. So here we are. We've got Trump's going to run. We've got this thing happening in Berlin, and you've got this happening in Brazil, and you've got people like Soros. Now, what I'm getting at is they're using a lot of the same equipment to make all these processes go forward. And a lot of these places that this is happening is places where they allow the papers to be sent in by the mail. I looked at a map, and like Canada, United States, a section of Africa that's been completely democratic, stronghold of tyranny, Australia, South America, all those are doing the mail-in papers, and everything's just going complete tyranny. Now, if you would like to maybe just put a few things together, if you're watching this for the first time, maybe think about that. Why are we having issues in places that have those? Now, are we going to be able to get rid of it? No. We won't be able to get rid of it by 2022. We just don't have the ability to, but that means we're going to have to change tactics a little bit. And that means we need to get some good attorneys on our side. We need to start doing, do like they do. Just go ahead and start sending in your mail-in papers. And then, I guess I'm going to look into this a little bit more and make sure I give you the right advice. And that way that kind of like doesn't enable them to maybe, because, with the suppression that took place in Berlin, the suppression that took place in Patriot Burr, in Arizona, that suppression is of Jim Crow style suppression that happened to African Americans during the segregation period that Joe Biden said was like, said that we're like Jim Eagle now. He called us Jim Eagle because I guess a crow is an inferior bird to an eagle. So if you wanted to emphasize the level of racism going on in repression, that a crow just doesn't have the standard of birdness to be able to actuate the racismness. So he upped the bird's statute of animal equity on the animal equity scale and put the eagle above the crow, which to me is racist in itself because all birds should be created equal. Do y'all remember this when he done this? Well, now that's where he was going with it. He was like Jim Eagle because that's just a doubled up version of the racism that MAGA supposedly is emanating. But really, when you think about the Jim Eagle that's going on, when you've seen all the red areas that did not have properly, they even printed out the papers the wrong size, or the papers were the right size, but the printout was wrong, which threw all the readings off. And that all happened in red areas in Arizona. Dude, and other things happen too, but that's just the stuff that I know is factual, and it's not anything I don't consider that the F word, I just call that suppression. Okay, YouTube? Possibly, allegedly. So that's really something to think about. Anyhow, one last thing before we get out, and this is a boom to the lefties, the horror. must to cancel free meals for employees at Twitter. So that means you can't get your latte. Along with mandating a return to office, Elon Musk has announced that no one gets free lunch at Twitter. Literally, guys. That's what it says here. Twitter employees will now have to pay for their own meals at the company cafeteria, a perk that was free before Musk's takeover. And there was a creator or a Twitter person that was like, "This is my day," and she walked all through there, and she did like 15 minutes worth of work, and she sat in front of a big thing, and then they drank lattes at lunch, or mixed drink. They got to drink mixed drinks, go back to work, so it's okay to drink on the job, which that's what they do in Congress, because Nancy Pelosi had them put a wet bar down there in the Congressional building, and there's actually, you can call up deliveries, and this is no joke, I am not making this up, guys. If I was, I'd tell you. But in Congress and the Congressional building, they built a section in there where they have a complete spirit bar where they can have liquor, wine, beer, and you can call, and somebody will bring it to your office while you're typing up some Green New Deal, getting all messed up and drunk as all get out and pissed off at the MAGA people, and then raging out on a bill. That's what they do up there, guys. Oh my goodness. So, anyways, let's do this right here, guys. Let's not let the mainstream media try to splinter us up. Let's do us a big old pimp walk and say we got the House. It's not a big, huge win. It's not like the red wave that we wanted, but we didn't completely go underneath the table. I mean, this could have been. They could have done another thing where something went really, 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 really bad. But I think between all of us getting involved and doing our best to spread the word, we kind of warded that off. And think about, we'd like to see the Blake Masters in there, but just having a small conservative win as district attorney in any state is always a good thing when it comes to actually integrity, when it comes to the V words, because that's where it is. Because like Biden says, it's not who does the V word, it's who counts the V word. And so hopefully we can get honest people in place, and honest laws, and enforce the ones that we have and make that happen. And all we can do is not throw in the towel, guys. We do that, we're done. That's all. We don't do that. We ain't going out like that. Yes, I went 1995 Cypress Hill. We ain't going out like that, or something, is it? Or we ain't going down like that. Either way, we're not going to. You know what I'm talking about, guys. Thank you for watching. Lots of love. God is in control, and you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. We're Wednesday. We've got us a couple days to wake up. It's the weekend you can enjoy. Have a good one. I'm out.